Hi. Let's just dive in. I'm going to tap into the current energy and just see where it takes us. We have the earth element with stability. We have 8th house with endings and beginnings. We have Capricorn with IUs. And we have Uranus with Genius and Black Moon Lilith with Mystery. So what's going on currently in the collective is we are restabilizing. We are tapping into the earth elementals, which is connecting or reconnecting with Schumann resonance. It could be being more in nature and reconnecting with these natural fractals of the ways that the leaves and the trees grow. We are doing everything to keep ourselves balanced and grounded. So you may have felt overly emotional, like I have, or you could have felt overly passionate or just overtly communicative in these past in this timeline. So that's coming in because with the 8th house we're going through these death and rebirth cycles spiritually and psychologically and physically. I believe that every summer, just because we have a little bit more of vitamin D and the sun is shining and we're able to go to the seaside or lakes or rivers to keep in touch with nature instead of isolating ourselves when it's cold outside. I believe that summer energies are the most potent. A lot is going on in summertime, from solstices to alignments to eclipses, meteor showers. Yeah. So with the 8th house, what I'm getting with the endings and beginnings is that these destabilizers that have been happening in our lives are falling away. And with Capricorn energy coming in, it's that confirmation of Earth, Saturn, you know, the divine masculine energy, but in a way of that divine fatherhood, which can be to ourselves or to people around us, comes in with the number 22. And of course with the Uranus, that's the ruling planet of Aquarius. So Uranus comes in with very clear mind, very logical way of approaching things, even though it's kind of like that unexpected change type of planet. It's still a generational planet. So what I'm getting here is, even though you may be resonating with some Aquarius placements or Earth or Scorpionic placements, this is more about the fact that the things that we are currently feeling and going through are actually these endings and beginnings of generational curses and traumas, and creating new legacies, creating new families or our own little families. So it could be new friends, new partners, new business partners. I heard partners in crime. Funny. So yeah, Mercury with the mind on the bottom, and we have solar eclipse with revolution and Mars with force. So our minds are revolving with such force, but this force is very grounded and stable. That's what we are currently transmuting. Yeah, Taurus energy. So the powers of self-transmutation and grounding our imminently within us. So never forget that. Let's just expand this reading a little bit. We have movement. Inspiration is drawn to motion. Spells and rituals. Bring magic and self-care together. Vision. Get clear on what you want, especially for Capricorn placements. Could be Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, maybe even for some of you. But we're focusing on, when I speak of resonance, it's probably going to resonate more with either personal planets, which I've just named, or those bigger generational planets, because it's coming from these planetary transitions. For instance, currently we have just entered Saturn in Aries in retrograde, which means we are reevaluating a lot. We're reevaluating karma, mostly because Saturn is the planet of karma, but that karma, or these structures, these it's like this limits imposed energy. So it's very, you know, let's say Saturn energy is a Pandora's box, and it's box shaped. So what's going on when we are transmuting these energies of these limits imposed and these structures that we have been in for so long, is that we need to reshape the box in which we are contained, right? So we are either reshaping our bodies, we are either reshaping our mind, or our whole way of being, right? So Saturn is this energy of, I call him Big Daddy for some reason, but it's like, you know, he's the father of the planets. Some might even say he is one of the most important planets, but I think, or feel, or imagine it in this way, where Saturn is such a huge planet that kind of guards us from the outer space energies and plasmas and voids and a lot of universal noise that could reach us. I believe personally that the planets in our solar system are kind of in a way for these dark or darker energies to not reach us. So I feel like planetarily we are in this cocoon. So yeah, sorry, I'm blabbering now. I don't know what I wanted to say. It was something about Saturn. So we have Witch's Hat. Express yourself, share your gifts with the world. And that falls right underneath Uranus with Genius. So 9th houses could be lighting up for some of you guys, which is the Sagittarian house. 8th house as well. But when we go from 8th to 9th house, it's going from these personal inner transformations to showing ourselves to the world. So what Spirit is asking of you to do is, the more you express yourself in your truth from all of your centers, the more you share your gifts with the world, that's your genius. That's your chemical X, you know, that is your way of creating legacy, creating new families of, you know, light, your light families. So people that are meant to be in your life, people that support you in your life. The more you put out your art, the more you sing out loud or dance in public as if no one's watching. Like, these are very small ways of being, but the way that we recalibrate with ourselves through these small ways of being is actually the most important and also the most potent of energies of creation, because each and every one of us, we have the power within us to create and destroy. I just heard Metallica Seek and Destroy. Shout out to my metalheads. Ceres, love and mother yourself. And this mysterious transit or this energy that you have been bathing in, it's really important to focus on the ways that you are able to give back to yourself, because with Saturnian energy we get this paternal energy, but with Ceres coming out, she's a deity, a goddess, she comes out to remind you. So I feel like there's these, you know, balancing acts that are going on within your vessels, energetically, spiritually, physically, mentally. It's like this alignment is happening, but the masculine the masculine energy is so potent that the feminine is kind of waving from the back, like, don't forget to, you know, breathe, relax, take a nap, take a shower mindfully, or a bath, or go near a lake and reconnect with your emotions. Sometimes when we feel overwhelmed, it's best to reconnect with the water elemental. We mustn't forget that most of our body is water, 1111 on the timer, and that water is really important. And I have been speaking about water in my previous readings, where the type of water that you're drinking is really important. So if it's fresh water out of the nature, it is going to help your cells do their job and protect your organs and help your blood and help your brain. And it feels like we are really looking at everything at the same time, because I feel like I have so much to say and so much to tell you, or, you know, give you like key points, but I keep getting overwhelmed with how much there needs to be done. So maybe a part of the collective feels like you, due to you having a 9 to 5 job or a 12-hour job or a night shift, you know, it feels like it's taking away from your divine energy or your creation energy, because we as human vessels, we get so used to these survival techniques because they are embedded in our DNA. But our timeline evolved so exponentially fast that it's hard for our nervous system to keep up with all of the data, all of the information, all of the lights, all of the commercials. You know, everywhere you look, it's usually a readable, or there's some color popping out that's not natural. It's not coming out of nature, right? That's why it's so important to reconnect near water or in nature, to reset our receptors so we can be receptive, so we can process all the water that is trying to come out of, you know, ourselves. We could be sweating in this season a bit more, like profusely sweating out of nerves, or crying a lot, or just being agitated, being, you know, unbalanced in the elementals. So Ceres is really trying to show you different ways that you are able to mother yourself. It could just be cooking your favorite meal and really taking the time to do it, and or just taking time to do something that you love doing for yourself, and truly enjoying the process is going to help you stay mindful in the present moment of that self-care. So what I'm getting is the type of care that you're able to give to another person when they are in need. Ceres is asking you to have that same attentiveness to the love that you give to yourself, your self-love, everything that you are able to pour in to keep yourself leveled and whole, and in the process of expansion of this ever-expanding energy will always come from the energy that you put within. Because my OGs know, but I like to see life as if we have a health bar and a mana bar. Our ability power is something that I'm trying to show people that we all have. So the more we exert ourselves and give to others and help, 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 and forget about ourselves, our mana bars are, flatlining and they're very low. So we need to do magical things, what it feels like, to regain these ability power senses. So let's say the less we express ourselves, the less we speak what we think in a genuine, polite way, the less we sing out loud, the less we draw or color, the less we garden, the less we, prepare meals that aren't quick or frozen or, on the go, the more we are able to bring back ourselves to ourselves, the more we are able to fill up our health bars for our human senses and fill up our mana bars for our source senses. Okay, I have a very bad throat, so I had to pause to cough, but I forgot this fell on the floor. I'm sorry. I feel like the collective just wants to kind of wake me up when September ends. That's the energy, because I got just super sleepy and tired, and I just feel like I want to turn into Sleeping Beauty for like 2 months. Fear not, my collective, this too shall pass, because we got the coven with the power of sisterhood. I would show you the card, but it's just YouTube might flag it down. The mystery behind all this is that the more we are able to calibrate to our true selves, the more we are able to see, hear, and notice our true brotherhoods and sisterhoods, our light family, our true family, or even our future family, like kingdom husbands, or just people that are able to create that solid unit with you. So if anybody's been thinking about creating a family, this is a very potent time to calibrate yourself into the person you would like to be happy when you see them in the mirror. So what I'm getting is, this is a point, a compression point on this timeline where everything we do will work in our benefit double if we do it right now. Because if we are able to stabilize our emotions and use our genius, our paths of, thinking, doing, and feeling, we are going to be able to transcend this. Okay, scratch that. The spirit just corrected me. So if you're watching this in a timely fashion, we have on 12th of August, we have 2026, we have a planetary alignment. It's a 6 planets being aligned in the sky, and we also have meteor showers, and I think Venus is aspecting something. I don't know what exactly is going on, but 12th of August is going to be a very special timeline shift. I'm getting a lot of minds are going to be expanded, opened up, because I just felt the strangest pain in my eyebrows going outwardly, which I never felt before. So if you're watching this when I'm posting it, up until Lionsgate Portal, which is every year on 8/8, that's going to be a key opener for these Pandora's boxes, these limits to be unlocked, unleashed, dissolved, resolved. Just the energy will be open. So you're going to have to be careful because your auras are going to be, let's say, susceptible to a lot that's going to be going on within each and every one of us. However, just a small bunch of us is going to understand where this is coming from and where this is going. So where this is coming from is just the whole year. The whole year, man. Lady. But this next 10 to 14 days is going to be a lot. Just worldly, I've seen a bunch of different countries I will not name. Earthquakes, a lot of solar storms, fires, just even new things coming out. Like, I feel like people's minds are going to be upgrading frequency, so they'll be able to see what you're seeing, collective, a bit clearer. It feels like a bunch of us are going to work as catalysts for the portal. But if you are riding along through the portal and just need some guidance, and you're not per se a light worker, it may be a bit harder on you, because I personally do these readings to understand the collective energy, because anytime I feel emotions, I feel like 80% isn't mine. So as I do these readings, I clear out what's not mine so I can hang out with me, pretty much. Yeah, well, the card I didn't even look at, the first one was solitude. So we're gaining stability within our solitudes, not right now, right? So the first part, before the Lion's Gate, anywhere from 1st of August to 8th of August, or if you're watching this next year, September, let's say, is going to be the next 7 days. So the next 7 days are going to be crucial to reconnect, recollect, go into solitude, go into nature, recalibrate, restabilize, reground, reconnect to source, realign. It's just the Saturnian retrograde energy is like the Father is telling you, you need to realign. You need to. So it's interesting because this is how it came out. We got stability, movement, and solitude. So what I'm getting from this, a lot of you are probably going to be starting to work out at home or gently move, dance, sing, start expressing yourselves, garden, sunbathe, just, you know, I don't know, for my ladies, you could just be doing a pedicure you haven't done in a while or something like that, you know, attentively waxing your legs and just making them really smooth with like a coffee olive oil scrub or a sugar scrub you made yourself. Because the more we create these potions of self-love, the more that we take the time to go read a book in the park, or to go for a hike, or go and sit near a lake or a loud river, so our brain just gets washed over with that womb sound of shh, you know, like the waves, the water, or the womb water kind of sounds the same. Or listening to a conch shell, it's actually hearing your blood circulate, right? It creates these waves. And I feel like the more we are able to be with ourselves, the more we are going to be able to expand after the portal into our true selves and attract those correct people into our lives. Yeah, flexibility. Eighth house with endings and beginnings, spells and rituals bring magic and self-care together, and flexibility with the portal. It's a gate with a tiger. So you could look up tiger spiritual meaning. You could have some um, extra confirmations there if you connect to tiger energy. But this is mostly about the divine feminine, because I got this divine feminine with the number 13 on the bottom. And in Kim Kranz's deck, I feel it's about the divine feminine, but let's see. Tagga Woods. Yeah, lunar force, ease in darkness, feminine energy. Yeah, so when in balance, you are passionate, you are strong, and you are sensual. And when you're out of balance, you may feel overstimulated. And to bring into balance, practice Trataka. It's candle gazing. So you could be benefiting, or if you feel out of touch emotionally with yourself, or overtly passionate, or overtly sensual, or just overstimulated, and are going through endings and beginnings within or outside of yourself. And you could benefit from watching a bonfire, or just lighting a simple tea light candle and observing the flame and meditating on the flame. So Trataka actually looks like this. You light a candle. It's dusty. You light a candle and you look at it for, let's say, a minute, and then you close your eyes and observe the flame that is imprinted on your peripheral. And you can do these intervals of however long you feel comfortable doing them. You could elongate them, shorten them, but that will help you to balance this overstimulated energy, and also your fire elementals. So sometimes what I used to do was just have these elementals always on hand. So I always have tea lights for candle gazing. I always have some sort of water, either for drinking, or I have a silver bowl in which I put water and some salt. And if I feel overwhelmed, I just put my I just put my hand in water, and it kind of soothes me, because it's like, sometimes in our lives it's hard to just go outside and have all these new rituals at hand, or have the energy to draw a bath and have a whole spiritual bath. Sometimes we can hack these things by having a pot of dirt, or a pot of water, or a small fire attended. Only you can prevent forest fires. And fresh air, sometimes just opening the window, if you have that luck, or going into a near park, just breathing in consciously will realign you with, your mental gets cleared out with fresh air. That's why when we go out and we, get a little cardio in, if we go uphill in nature, it's everything working at the same time, right? So it's like we're being grounded by the path that we walk on, that it's not asphalt or man-made paths, but it's man-made paths from in nature. So we have different elevations to achieve when we put legs uphill, right? So it's different types of effort. So also when we go into nature, we observe animals, we observe plants, different plants. We observe or feel that fresh air. And we already got 2 elementals covered, right? We may pass a creek with water, we got 3 elementals covered. And then we go home and just do some candle gazing to just realign with that inner flame. And that's how our elementals are, or our senses, may be calmed into those centers. And that's where we are able to also expand in consciousness, because our human elementals that we are sensing, depending on our size and our senses in our bodies, or our, you know, touch, smell, sense, whatever. Yeah, sorry. I'm getting disturbances in the field, so I'm just gonna clear it a little bit. You could also benefit from investing in some singing bowls or bells, or just listening to. You could benefit from listening to classical music, because it's like radio songs. They are, you know, we all know, 440 megahertz. So if you listen to classical music, even on the radio, it hits a lot higher frequencies. Trust me, I measured it with my Physics Toolbox app, and it really helps. So you could be benefiting from listening to classical music to just have that extra ether cleansing. Truth. Okay. What I'm getting here with I use with Capricorn and vision and truth is, you collective, all you want to do is live in your truth. You have a vision, and you keep using that vision to stay aligned. I started hearing staying alive, staying alive. Genius, which is that. So, yeah. What I'm getting here is collective. You're going to have to take that risk. You're going to have to take flight. There's no way around it. If you want to feel free, if you want to have wind blowing in your hair or your crown of the tree, of your soul tree, you're going to have to abandon the hills on which you have traversed. Because it feels like in this season, in these portals, you're going to recognize that you have wings. You are able to take the risk on your vision, because it's your vision. It's your alignment, right? The way you express yourself is you. And the more you take risk, as soon as you take a risk, you're going to feel fulfilled. It's like this cheeky peach. And full moon. So something happened on full moon. If you're watching this in a timely fashion, it could have been this buck moon. I'm looking at my buck cup, my stag cup. Yeah, so a lot of you are probably going to watch this year, not, 2 weeks later or next year, who knows. But it's a timeless message. It may apply as well as if, I don't know where the card went. 1 second. I had to go upside down, literally, because it went underneath the couch. So what I'm getting here is like, yeah, it's this Hangman Tarot energy where we are going to have to literally do a 180, turn our lives upside down, just complete fuck everybody, I'm going that way. So yeah, purification with sunflowers. Sunflowers could be significant, or when you're seeing sunflowers, it could be a confirmation that you are where you need to be. But it's about purification. You may, we sometimes get overwhelmed with just everything, and it's hard for us to see that it's about purification. It's about getting all of these heavy emotions out of our system instead of collapsing them and piling them onto our already overwhelmed. I'm getting chills. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm getting full body chills. So there's a lot of activations going on when it comes to giving and receiving anything, and we're being really mindful of who gives us what. Or it could be items, it could be words, it could be just anything that's reciprocal, anything that's not coming from you to you. It's going to be heavily evaluated, purified, transmuted, ended, so something new can begin. And that's the whole part of the mystery, because if you are a divine feminine watching this, you may be resonating with Lilith, where, you know, she's more of a divine counterpart to Adam than Eve is. And you may, you know, look up those stories yourself, but we're not here for biblical stories today. We're here for success and pleasure, because that's the gate that we are kind of going towards. So what I'm seeing is, this is the beginning of the gate. This is the bamboo forest. Bamboo may be significant as a, you know, spiritual plant of flexibility, resilience, and, you know, great heights. Also the tiger. But on the other side, as the tiger meets us at this bamboo gate, it's asking us to have more flexibility. And didn't we have something about flexibility? Oh yeah, it's this card. I'm just tired of life, man. However, on the other side, if we are able to successfully integrate ourselves into ourselves and calibrate and keep walking, you know, it may be tiring because steps aren't always, you know, it's about ascending, which means it needs more effort. And there's a new moon behind it. So we're going from full moon energy to new moon energy. And that's where energy has to dissipate. So we may be currently feeling intense emotions, but it's all about walking towards the next gate. So what I'm seeing in my mind's eye is, it's like two gates. Imagine two gates, two portals, and the whole outside of it is just our lives, right? Our normal lives. And this is kind of like us nearing the first gate was this compression and depression energy or overwhelm of emotions. It could have been so heavy, and just the reevaluations that happened in this timeline up until this point have just been massive and heavy. Just the energy is almost unprocessable. That's how it feels. However, the in-between gates is the most magical place. It is where you are able to talk to yourself, to see yourself, to nurture yourself, to reconnect with yourself and with your light family and everything that we've talked about. It's this point in time where you're able to use your vision, you're able to progress, you're also able to begin anew, because you have the magic, I heard, and then I heard you have the power. I'm getting this sentence, but it's like Serbo-Croatian. It's like some birds never fly, you know, and you're not one of those birds, because because you're here, and what you're going towards may feel selfish, but it's the path that you have to take. It's the effort that you kind of have to put in, especially if you are resonating with the divine masculine energy, because there's a lot of power coming from this and a lot of electricity. And there's a deer, which is a counterpart to the stag or the elk. You're focusing on success. That's where your focus will also be after the gate. Let's just take one more. Or 4 more. Let's do some more animals, because I feel the animals are always speaking to us. Yeah, because we prefer talking to animals even if they don't talk back in this season, instead of fucking people. More disturbances in the field. You may feel frustrated by daily chores or just the people that you encounter in your day-to-day life. You may feel like you just want to like sleep outside. For some reason you prefer being around, like underneath the clear skies, bugs eating you up, than any person, any human vessel annoying you. Sorry, it's just a transmission. Okay, we'll take all of these 3 and we need 2 more. 1, 2. We're taking reins back into our hands. We're taking a leap of faith. Look at this leaping energy. Grasshoppers could also be a confirmation if you're seeing one on your nature walks. It's a sign that that day might be the day you need to start with one small thing that helps you express yourself better, or helps you on elevating on the path that you want to walk on. If you want to be a musician, an artist, an entrepreneur, a programmer, whatever you want to be, it's like that may be the day where the universe is like, hey, remember that reading where the lady said something about seeing a grasshopper in nature, and it was like that walk you took after, you know, not taking any walks, and you're like, so this is how omens work. Yes, this is exactly how spirit communicates with us in confirmations. And on your way home, you're probably gonna encounter a sunflower. Did I just say sound flower? Okay, sound cloud could be significant. Deer. Bring a gentle touch. So through this harsh energy, it's highly important that we take the gentlest approach to ourselves, because sometimes when we have that feeling, it's just us and God, or us and the universe, us and the source, whatever you believe in. It can be quite infuriating when we are traversing masculine energies. And, you know, Aries being a fire sign ruled by Mars, which is divine masculine energy, and then Saturn just being Capricorn energy. It's a feminine elemental, but it has the smallest amount of feminine energy when it comes to planetary energy. So especially if you're ending cycles, whatever you're ending, as much as it may infuriate you, you're going to need to bring a gentle touch. Get into the deer energy and just observe rather than have an outburst. Elephant spirit, learn from the past. So whatever you have been going through is most likely bringing you into your flexibility, and it falls underneath the 8th house with endings and beginnings and spells and rituals, which says bring magic and self-care together. So what you're bringing together are you're meeting, it's you know the saying, making the ends meet. So it's not about finances per se, it's more about the actual connection of the ends, of the ending and the beginning, and that meeting of ends is one portal or one gate, which is the flexibility gate. That's how I saw it. So you learning from the past is knowing when, how, and why to end things. And at that point of destruction, there's also a point of creation from which you're able to traverse to the next gate. And this is very important, because in each timeline that we are being given to evaluate these things, we're being given that point to evaluate the karma and to not repeat it. That's why we need to end things. We need an ending to a situation, or the way we feel, or a job that doesn't appreciate us. Anything that is lowering or depleting our energetic bodies is not aligned with our true self. We need to express that. I'm sorry, I'm like burping a little bit. I know that most of the time it's not noticeable, but I felt like this one was loud and I had to acknowledge it. But these are just like energetic transmissions where it's coming purely from my solar plexus and up, which always shows me that we need to, you know, be more confident about expressing our hearts verbally when the transmission goes from there or wherever, right? Because we are constantly emanating energy. That's why a lot of things, a lot of these fluctuations are connected to energy unblockings, or you know what I mean. Ooh, would you look at that, the divine masculine, because 44 to me is divine masculine number, but 2 panthers came out because the success card was on top of the previous deck I used, and this one was like, I have more. Panther said, I have more for you. And it's this focus, it's this power, it's this success. So Black Panther is the animal that I would choose to be, but it's not like my main spirit animal. I don't know how to say it. So I understand this energy because of that. Whatever you are resonating with, feminine, masculine, we're all traversing the same energies. So I feel like one of these is a feminine, one of these is a masculine, and they're like, the masculine is very, masculines are very focused on, a lot more focused on their path and on reclaiming their power. You may feel tingling on top of your head, or just like itching around the cheekbones and cheeks, like, you know, this. So some energy transmissions might flow through masculines, or that's where masculine energy activates. That's going to be a sign. Also, your third eyes are, I'm hearing blooming, but I wanted to say opening. So you could have very prominent cheeks. I don't know why, but this panther is like a very cheeky kitty. But it almost the more I look at this panther, the more it reminds me of a bear. So maybe bear could also be a significant spirit animal when it comes to unlocking certain soul codes within you. But I'm getting like masculines, you want to kind of be in the background yet still show your face, but it's like the people around you feel like you're more of a mirage or something that's not fully present in the life that's around you. So I feel like you may want to, you know, I'm seeing that Homer Simpson meme where he like backs up into a shrub. You may just want to like, you know, blend with the wall or the darkness, and you're either stalking prey, or your panther or spirit elemental inside of you isn't much of a panther. I don't know how to say it. It's like somebody here isn't doing their divine masculine job very well, because you're wanting to blend into your surroundings, and there's this longing that's coming off of this panther's eyes, and a lot of focus. It's staring me straight into the soul. That's why it kind of looks like a bear. I don't know. Do you see it? My light is not helping to show you how I'm trying to portray this image, but maybe you don't even want to be explained. I feel like part of the Divine Masculine Collective may feel highly exposed right now as I say this, so I'm sorry if that makes you feel a certain awkward way, but the feminines, however, have went through a lot of shitstorms, a lot of mountains, and traversed galaxies, and they understand. I'm just getting a lot of patience off of this panther here. She's not angry, but she's holding back a lot of magic, a lot of power, and there's a lot of success that may come from these two meeting. We have crow spirit, so co-create with spirit. Crows could be significant. Number 17 as well. And pig spirit, use your mind wisely, with number 47, which is an 11. The crow is asking you to unfurl your wings and wait, which is lyrics from Alter Bridge's Blackbird, but there could be a connection between crows and blackbirds for some of you guys. But what I'm getting here is you are preparing, you're testing the winds, you're testing the ethers, because right now maybe the creator or the universe is creating a lot of mental confusion, or I just noticed that there's a face blowing on these winds. So what I'm getting from this is that you as this tree are being moved with such force to get rid of all of those old twigs and leaves. They need to fall off, because the transpiration and the photosynthesis need to happen, and the food or the energy of your soul tree needs to go to the roots and to the leaves, the crown, right? You're going to start blooming after this season. So Spirit is asking you to unfurl your wings and wait, which means you need to test the wind, right? So sometimes the winds are blowing too hard, and sometimes you're able to take flight and take the risk. So if you're a divine feminine, you have been going through a mountain of emotions. And even though you know you're limitless and you know you have wings to fly, you're still getting used to these energetic altitude changes, as well as feeling like you aren't able to fly in this very human perspective of not having enough of this or that to progress in life. That's why the whole mystery is to use your mind wisely, which means when our mind is like this tree being almost blown away, like, you know, like there's too many thoughts passing through, we are not able to use our mind wisely. But when we are able to purify, to calm down, to meet with people that are soul family or not at all, right? To establish those boundaries, we are able to have a clear mind. And even in this situation, the pig will fly. And that's something that you may have felt was impossible, but even the pig is flying in this reading. But it's up to you to take that leap, to take that risk. And it's solely your magic and vision and power of movement, and taking the necessary steps to step into said movement is going to be able to bring you the correct messages, the correct path of escaping certain loops and cycles or spirals. It will also bring you great benefits. And with age, you will think back on the abundance that has increased inside of your routines, because you were able to let go of your karma, your self-node, your lives. That's the reason why you have incarnated, is the reason why things are now ending and beginning. And it all starts with you communicating your soul and your desire, wanting to transform because you want balance in your spirit. And maybe the love has been missing. Yeah, truth. That's why you're reinventing. That's why you're changing. That's why you're analyzing and sensing. You can feel certain partners. You can trust that the universe has your back, that the friends that you do have are your friends. And the partners that, like, you may not be on the timeline where you have everything that I'm talking about, but sometimes we need to act as if it's already here, you know? How to say it? Even if we feel alone and like nobody understands us or has time for us, we still have all of these future friends, soul families, partners, business ventures that are so excited to meet you. But just because the future not being evenly distributed doesn't mean it's not already here or already on its way. So you might as well start acting as if, which points me to just use one more deck for love messages. Does somebody want a love message here? Okay, what does the collective need to know about love in this next timeline? Okay, children. Your love life is being affected by children. So this could be you having children, or your love life affecting your children, or your children affecting your love life, or even it could be you wanting to have children or to have animal children. Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. So what I'm getting from this image is divine feminines are not very impressed by divine masculines, because there's still a certain path that needs to be taken, a path of enlightenment. So feminines, you may be a bit more aloof or a bit more closed off, or just in your emotions. Somebody may have stirred your romantic feelings, and now people don't know how to hold you anymore. And last message for my collective. Swear to God, it's my last message. Another hour with me. If you like these readings, don't forget to subscribe, comment, share, like, do all the cool stuff. So yeah, what's going to happen, this is just underlying energy. A lot of heart-to-heart conversations. Look at this dude. He's like, I don't know if you can see. His face is hilarious. He looks like he needs to take a shit, or he just remembered he forgot to turn off the stove. And she's like, listen to me, I need to explain some things, and holding his hands, and he's just like disassociating. So you may be in, you know, relationships where you cannot have these heart-to-heart conversations, because the heart has been so damaged from something that you cannot even see or hear the person soulfully. You just do it in disassociation stages. So it needs to happen. There's these emotions that's going through the collective that need to be discussed honestly with each other, either with your current partners or with your love interests. And yeah, last but not least, the card as advice for my collective that needed a love message is, let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others. It could also be angels. If you feel alone, or your friends are far away or whatever, and you just need that structure, call on to angels to help you. Call on to God to help you. Reconnect with source, because sometimes we don't have a whole army of people that are going to put on flower crowns for us and hold our hand and tell us that we deserve much more. Sometimes not all of us are that lucky. Most of the time, a lot of people don't even want to listen to our storylines, because, you know, they're living their own, or they don't align with your story, so they're judging it or whatnot. And I'm just here to remind you that, you know, sometimes visiting certain places or buildings, or, you know, events even, could be where you randomly meet some really cool people that are going to become these